Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It's Sunday, the 19th of January. Liverpool have gone to Brentford and won 2-0 thanks to the man called Darwin. I'm Scatman Gav. With me this week, I have got Glory Hole, I've got Hawk, and I've got Just Brendan. Um, People are wondering what the fuck is going on here, but these are our influencer names, apparently. So we're going to spend the whole show referring to ourselves as this, and then at some stage we might go back to our normal names, our in-house
Are
names,
given names?
the stuff our ma's call us. Um,
No.
anyway, huge win, huge weekend for Liverpool. Everything kind of went right. Yeah, nearly everything. But G hole, glory hole. I'm going to start with you,
Lovely.
if that's okay. Um, Look, as weekends go, we've had quite a few this season where you went, that's a perfect weekend. But the way that went at the weekend, we're nil all going into injury time. You're thinking of Arsenal against Villa at 5:30, and you're thinking, Jesus Christ, they could be within two of us with a game in hand here if we only draw this. But to win that, and then for Arsenal to be 2-0 up, not draw the game, not come back, to be 2-0 up and draw the game 2-all at home, that's the way weekend should have went, and that's the way it's gone. What did you think of that?
It's the Carlsberg done weekends. It's that one because it's all about the psychology of these things. We've seen this before. Remember the Robbo against Villa for us went the year we won the league and we're trailing and then bang, we're ahead late in the game. I seen Thomas Partey said that he was watching the Liverpool games. The Arsenal players were aware of it, and the slug in the gut that they get from seeing Liverpool turning that around. And then a draw, you can look at a draw in either way for Arsenal. Is it drop points or is it points gained? That's drop points for them. Do you know what I mean? So the psychology couldn't have gone any better. Everything that happened over the weekend nearly had a Nottingham Forest, who are our real rivals, nearly had them pegged back as well today, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, look, Liverpool went out there. We can say they didn't play well, but they did dominate Brentford. Just didn't get the chances. Really, didn't take the chances that were there. Didn't make the most of it. Similar to the Forest game, but we got the goals when we needed it. Um, what was it? 37 shots, and it was our 36th and 37th that got the goals. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was it. That was
Good.
the glory. Cometh to man, Darwin, cometh the glory. And that is sort of where glory hole is. It's been me influence on name for a while because I'm greedy for the glory. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want all the
yeah.
glory. So
And anybody
that's
wondering what the fuck's going on, we don't know. To be perfectly fair, but we have, and these weren't names given to us. We picked them. So when people are looking at Keith going, "Jays, I feel sorry for Keith. He got the bad end of the stick there." Keith picked it. It wasn't anybody else. Anyway, just Brendan, how are you?
Grant,
Good
Grant, you
stuff.
can just call me Brendan Gaff. It's just Brendan to you.
Okay,
yeah.
Brendan. Um, Brendan, how big? Before we get into the game,
And
before we get into the
compose
players,
himself and
Did you
talk.
did you notice did you notice that from the comments?
no, I haven't noticed that from the
Because
comments.
obviously there's somebody that is Shawnee's son, and it's
Yeah.
now just Brendan's son.
Yeah, I do see it now. I do see it now. What's up, Dad? He says.
All right, son.
Just Brendan's son. Anyway, before we
Tell
get
that
into
man I'll
players,
be up in a minute.
before, before before we get into players and goals and everything else, Brendan, look, like Keith said, it's a sucker punch for Arsenal. I don't know if it's a killer one. 'Cause I think they've 17 games left, or 16, and we've 17. But I had to affect them. Them late goals for Liverpool had to affect them going into that game. And then, as they're 2-0 up, it goes 2-1. They look nervous. It goes 2-all. They look a bit desperate. There's a long way to go in this, but that felt like not like a hammer blow or massive,
No,
massive turn.
just call it as it is,
Does
and
it? Do
don't
you
be
think that?
afraid to say it as it. It was significant.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
it's a
significant.
significant day. I
There's
don't know
no
if
doubt about it.
I don't know
I
if it's a
think
killer.
I think this is going to be. You're saying a killer. I think this is going to be a death by a thousand cuts job
Yeah.
this season. The way it's playing out, to be honest with you, and it's going to peter out with Liverpool just being champions, and I'm saying that now with confidence, kind of. Do you know what? I won't lie to you, Gav. Scatman Gav. I'll give you.
Just Gav
I'll
to
call
you.
you by your.
Yeah, man.
No, just Gav. I thought I would have been on the side of a pessimist probably before the game on Saturday. I felt like we dropped points. I just did. And I'll tell you why. I'm at getting pulled into the mire about all the shit that's kind of circulating around Liverpool at the moment on Reddit or wherever else you kind of take your news from. And it's only when you kind of step out you realise that people are trying to create narratives that aren't really there. And you only have to kind of look at the real proof in terms of inside training videos, Arne Slot press conferences. And yesterday, a big thing for me was the celebration to the fourth goal and on 90 minutes. And then the way players got around Darwin Nunez. And I'll put my hand up. I've been guilty of probably being, maybe not on these shows. I don't think I've lifted him out in terms of just being derogatory towards him. I think I just simply said he's not good enough. And I'm not being revisionist either because he scored twice. But when you see the way the players got around him yesterday, and I have to be totally honest with you, something that took me completely by surprise, and I'm going to give Sky that kudos because bringing in Spanish-speaking reporters to speak to Spanish-speaking players after games is a masterstroke because, like, it's unbelievable how candid that interview was from Darwin yesterday. It showed a completely different side to him that I didn't think existed. I thought he was a bit flaky, Darwin, because of last year when he was deleting all the photos of him playing for Liverpool and all on his Instagram. I just thought it was the mark of a player who was probably a bit flaky. But I have to be honest with you, I mean it, people might think I was blown away by the interview yesterday. It was so candid and honest, and he showed an unbelievable attitude, and it was a real look into the sort of person that he is as well. And the things he said stuck true. And I want to give a big, huge shout out as well to Arne Slot because I think there's been this kind of narrative of Liverpool maybe falling away or being catchable or being this or being that. His temperament has never changed. The one thing I was worried about this brilliant start to Arne Slot's career was it was mirroring a little bit what fucking Postecoglou was doing last year. And then as soon as the bad signs come in, you start to see cracks appear and the media are picking holes in him, and then it just looked like waffle and gobbledygook, like the mask. It was like the Wizard of Oz when the fucking thing turned around and you figured out who it was, you know. But with Slot, he's remained consistent, and some of the things he said this week in press conferences are fucking brilliant. And like, I know he's not similar to Klopp in so many ways, but this week showed to me, I'd say them fucking players love playing for him. And it made me realise that there's a real togetherness in this squad that no matter what the extent, forget about contract situations, who we aren't signing or whatever's going on. That group is really together. And again, you've seen Harvey Elliott's words after it. And he's another player who's probably been linked around the clubs, and he says, like, this is my club. I'm a Liverpool fan. This is my club. I want to play for them, and I'll do everything in my power to make sure I stay here and play for them. So it was a real affirmation for me yesterday, that win. And it felt huge. It felt significant. I've been waiting since kind of the start of 1920. Does not, like, Keith goes back to Villa in 1920. That's in November.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the next moment after that is probably United at home. Salah
or Leicester, maybe Leicester when
which are both in December.
There was loads of moments in 1920. I don't think there's been any really this season. It's just been kind of just doing it up. Don't get me wrong, a few really good performances. We beat City at home, but we make it look routine. There was nothing special about it. We just beat them. We were just better, you know what I mean? We go to Old Trafford and we win, but we didn't know where we stood at the time. We hop off West Ham away, and I think this is because I think a lot of people aren't giving credence just how difficult it is to win an away game in the Premier League this season. There's been so few of them, and yesterday was an anomaly. I think there was 3 away wins yesterday and a draw. I think Villa got a point. Villa, I think they definitely did.
Yeah.
It feels huge. It feels huge, and again, I didn't realise what Keith said there, that Thomas Partey said they've been watching it. And I was watching the game in Dublin Airport, Departures Lounge, and there was a lot of, I'm going to guess they were Arsenal fans because they were cheering every time Brentford were on the attack, so they could actually support anyone. But I'm telling you now, ground men puking into points at 90 minutes and me helicoptering them in Dublin Airport isn't exactly how I thought I'd see my Saturday go. I thought the airport guards were going to be rang and I was never making me flight. But do you know what? I do it all again tomorrow, even for the risk of it. I feel like it was huge. And I'm not going to turn around and say, maybe this is where Darwin kicks on, because we've had a few false starts. But it would be lovely to see him kind of track together a bit of form now and become useful to us in the back end of the season. Let's just call a spade a spade. I'd love it more than nothing else. And
you'd nearly like him to do an
well,
Origi, wouldn't you? Like, remember the year Origi comes in, and we probably should have sold him that 6-month period when he came in, and
it just got big goals.
Lightning in a bottle, nearly.
Yeah, the mad stat yesterday was that I was saying that he has more 90-minute winners away from home than any other player in Premier League history. That's mad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, like but look, listen, delighted for him, delighted for the team, delighted for a couple of individuals, Harvey Elliott and Arne Slot. And again, I don't know whether anyone's seen it. There was a brilliant article in The Observer about Liverpool and the last few weeks, and it did give me faith that actual journalism is still alive. I think Arne Slot deserves massive credit with how he's handled the last few weeks, and because again, we seen a brilliant performance the second half against Nottingham Forest, and you know the noise were out yesterday. We had to drop points, but with 37 fucking shots, is a Premier League record for an away team. We're a really good team, and it's good to see that all of them players still realise it, and the rest around us are feeling it. Like, I agree with you. Have Arsenal get a 90th-minute equaliser yesterday, they might feel a little bit different, but exactly how that played out. Look, lads, it's happened to us. It takes the wind out of you. You know, it literally diminishes the win that you get. Like, if we'd have won before them or whatever, and then they go and win in that fashion, you're nearly sick to your stomach. You know what I mean? So it's brilliant for us, and I think yesterday's performance is like sort of I think it could end up being a catalyst to the second half of the season and us really kicking on. And I hope that's the way it plays out. We've got some good fixtures now as well, which is worth saying. And that's two of the trickiest out of the way as well. I will say that, because
but I think
Brentford they're slipping a little bit, but they've been excellent at home. And Forest Bournemouth will be another tricky one.
Bournemouth, City, Everton are the next three aways, I think. Emmet, not Emmet, Hawk. Sorry. We needed that, didn't we? You know, like we draw with United, we lose to Forest. No, we don't lose Forest. We lose to Spurs in the League Cup. We go to Forest. You know, we draw there, and you're like, we need something. We need to get back on the horse here. And I was saying it during the week, just go and win, get 3 points, and just because as soon as you get 3 points, just people start forgetting the Forest away, which was the decent point. They forget the United at home, which was. We were terrible. You know, we really, really needed that, didn't we? Like, just a couple of things. Like, John says they should get Steve McLaren to interview the Dutch players because he speaks fluent Dutch, which is good. Hotline says this week 9 away teams have scored 2+ goals in the same match week for the first time in Premier League history. With regards to away teams, so there you go. It doesn't happen an awful lot. But Hawk, how badly did we need it?
I wouldn't say we badly needed it, but we needed it. Like, if you look at the games where we've drawn, like, so Forest, like any other year, that's probably a poor result, but they're flying this season. United, we used to go to United and put it up to them even when we were dog shit. Like, so it was like Brentford. I think we're only the third team to beat them there this season. I think Arsenal and Forest, 1, 2, and 3 are the only other two. But I mean, we were knocking on the door in other games, so it was just. I think it was just a matter of time before somebody, and just Brendan and yourself were on Kop Talk TV after the home game, saying that they looked absolutely out on their feet after about 70 minutes. They looked at yesterday as well, and it was only a matter of time. We kept knocking on the door. What I was pleased about yesterday is we tried to do different things rather than trying to do the same thing over and over and over again. We came in from the side. We weren't just throwing balls into the box. We were approaching it from the front. We were doing absolutely everything. And like Brendan said, I was delighted for Elliott because he has a heavy. Actually, I was delighted for Kaza and Elliott. Probably had a heavy involvement in both goals. So it's great to see that we have. Like I saw things there last week where people were questioning our squad depth. Right, there's no mistake that we're probably short a body here and there, but I said it at the start of the season. I'll say it now. I still think that our squad is the best squad in the Premier League in terms of depth. Who can come in? We say it every week. Does it really matter who starts in there? Like, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't mind if Jones started there over Szoboszlai. I wouldn't mind if, do you know what I mean? Tsimikas. I mean, we didn't probably think we would say this last year, but there's people calling out for Tsimikas to play there. Like, I think we've seen improvement in players this season. And I think the competition for places, bar probably Endo isn't probably seeing enough. There's enough football, I think, there for everybody else. But I just thought it was unbelievable. I was like Ashley, I was at a match. So I was listening on a stream and it literally died on 90 minutes. So I didn't know that we had scored. And just to go back to what Glory Hall was saying, I think the Arsenal fans or Arsenal players were watching it or following it. I think what happened then is I was listening to something today. It says they went out to warm up. And when they got back in from their warm up, they found out that we had won. So they're out there on the pitch getting ready for their game, thinking these boys are dropping points. And apparently in the Emirates, there was an audible kind of gasp when they heard that Liverpool had scored. Now, it is 2 points dropped for Arsenal yesterday. And that's a slug in the gut because if they had drew 2-2, if it was like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, they were 2-0 up.
Yeah.
And Villa came back. And that's not the first time that's happened to them this season. They've given away leads other times this season, but also the disallowed goal.
Yeah.
That's another slug in the gut. So it's I'm not going to say it's massive. It was an important win. I think it does kickstart us back into a winning kind of run. It's been an absolute poxy run that we've had, the amount of away games that we've had. And tough ones as well at that. So it's good to get the monkey off the back, get 3 points back on the board. And yeah, like I agree with Brendan, I know it was Glory Hall that said it first, like something like Villa, the Villa game in 1920. It felt something like that. And I think what's happened as well is, and I was listening, Nori Amanda has you'll never walk alone tattoo on his leg, and he got his leg blown off in Afghanistan or something.
Yeah.
He has a podcast. He has a podcast, and now when his leg got blown off, now it has "You'll Never Walk." So the alone got blown off, like so now I never walk.
No, that's the truth.
I'm being serious.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, that's a true story. Yeah.
But he has a podcast.
So he just blew his calf off, didn't he?
Yeah. So I'll show you a picture after. But he said something on he has a podcast, and he said something that he said for a lot of Liverpool fans, the only time that they'll ever remember us winning the league is when we absolutely pissed it in 1920. Very well. There's obviously a lot of them, but not people that are online. We're like this is what's involved in winning. This is an actual title race. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We've been on the wrong side of title races before. So I think there's scar tissue there from a lot of people that are probably panicking at these draws, that it was like, oh, here we go again. We're going to get by a point. Or
because it's a standard title race where teams can go out and draw the game or draw 2-5 or draw 2-6. Whereas title races in particularly the last 6 or 7 years, you have to be very close to perfection. And if you're not, every draw feels like you're actually being taken points off. You're not gaining a point. You're not dropping.
So back years ago, they said you could afford to lose 6 games and win the league. You know, when United and Arsenal are running like 6 games, you could say.
Yeah, now
Liverpool head to head with City, a draw was like fucking the
If
If
end
you
of the
lost
world.
two, if you lost two
You know what
games
I
in the
mean?
season, you forget about it. And
So I think
like,
that's where a bit of the unrest comes in the.
of course it does,
the
but that's just recent memories storing up in you. You know that lad you're talking about
But just if
is
it
bang
right,
on. No, but what I'm saying is he's bang on in
just
what he's
takes
saying because
but just
it's
take
a
stock,
normal
right?
title race.
Take stock. Yeah, it's a normal stock. It's a normal title race, right? Fair enough. We played 21 games. Is that a 20?
21.
Right. So we played 21 games. All right. Just say that. Imagine all the names on the league were blank, and you didn't know who was where. All right. Just imagine that. All right. And you forget about fixtures or this fucking thing that they deal with, the difficulty rating of the fixtures or whatever, based on fucking lads crunching numbers in the mass box room, whatever they do it.
On the deserve to win a meter.
Yeah, the probability, the ratings of a probability of me getting a bloody chicken fitter roll on a Sunday after a heavy night out goes up greatly if you're not aren't on the gargles or the bleeding shite that they come out with. Put it just look at it plain and simple. And sometimes football, like who was it said, football is an easy game made, simple game made hard by idiots. Like if you look at after we've scored the most goals, we've conceded the least, and we've the most points.
Yeah.
It's and do you know what? Sometimes it's really as simple as that. And Emmet saying with a load of epoxy, like we've had a few bad results in the last couple of weeks, I'd admit. But again, like I was looking back, like you can apply context to nearly every single one of the games, and you're not it's not making excuses.
No,
it's just talking facts. So there's right. We go back to the first of Newcastle. We were shite in the first half. We dig one out. We go up 3-2, and then Keller has a blunder. Can happen any other day, right? A mistake, a fault. We drop points.
but we were excellent in the second half. We were very
exactly
good.
Fulham were down to 10 men for fucking 75 minutes of the game or however long it was, and we should win. We should win out. We go behind twice. We end up getting a point. So the stuff like that, United, right? We are poor, but like. It would have been one of them games. If we had a won, and you would have been like, all right. And if you had a loss, then you would have been like, yeah, could have went either way. Spurs, we were just shy. But again, I'm taking that one with a pinch of salt because I think there is an idea in the back of the players' minds that if this doesn't quite go right tonight, we have got a chance to put it right in a couple of weeks in Anfield. So I just think, and then Forest is just it was another decent performance against a team who are flying at the moment. So, like, you can employ this. If that's a blip, we're on the pigs.
Well, you see, this is my point. This is my point on yesterday, right? You know, as much as we win, you know, Arsenal are at the Emirates. They're going out to warm up at 5:15. It's into injury time at the G-Tech Stadium, I think it's called, right? And it's 0-0, and they're going out to warm up, and then they're hearing sounds from the ground, right? They come back in at 5:05, getting themselves ready for the 5:30 kickoff. They walk in the door. Liverpool have won 2-0. Nunez, of all people, has scored twice, right? That on its own puts pressure on Arsenal. Now Arsenal go 2-0 up. They lose 2 goals. They draw 2-2. Liverpool are now 6 points clear with a game in hand, which is possibly 9, right? The big thing for me to come out of this is, and it's the Arsenal, like people were moaning about or laughing at the guy in the stadium yesterday, sitting on his own in the stadium, head in his hands. The big thing out of this is that Arsenal have probably looked at Liverpool over the last couple of weeks and went, they drew with United, they drew with Forest, they had a fucking tricky one there. Would have been three draws in a row. 3 draws in a row.
They didn't put Arne on his off on Christmas either.
But this is the
on the screen.
that's Seany's screen. So the big thing here is
Seany.
Or just Brendan's screen, sorry.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as much as it's a sucker punch in a footballing sense, I think Arsenal have probably looked at Liverpool and went, fuck's sake. Like, that would have been 3 league draws in a row. Our probably last chance in it for a little while to make points on this. And we've come out of, since, I think we're 9 points clear on the 1st of December. I think, right? In around that time. And now we're sitting, next game is around the 25th of January. And they're possibly going to be the exact same amount of points behind. And Liverpool have had their little thing in between. Like, if they'd have gone say that period of time and won all the games, and Liverpool have won all the games, they'd be able to go, well, Liverpool haven't had a wobble yet. Liverpool haven't been below par yet. But Liverpool have been below par for 2 games, and Arsenal haven't taken advantage of it. And that's why, as much as you laugh the fella in the Emirates jersey with his head in his hands, on his own in the stands, I think he reflects an Arsenal fan base where they go, they fucking drew 2, and somehow they're going into this where they're still 9 points clear. The games are running out, and we have to go to Wolves, we have to play City. In that time, I think Liverpool play Ipswich and Bournemouth, and that's the biggest thing to come out of it. The football results, yeah, great, but the overall bigger picture of the last couple of weeks, Arsenal haven't made a dent on us.
Did any of you think it was a bit mad, Arteta's answer to the question about how we won the game yesterday?
I didn't hear his response to how we won the game because I tried not to listen to him.
Just it shows his lack of experience in this position, and just like, do you ever heard they say that being the man before the man? I think they're gonna actually need someone else to come in and ruffle a few feathers there, because I don't actually know what's going on. Like he basically come out as if to say, like, again, like, poor Arsenal now, we've nothing off the bench today, this, that, and the other. Oh yeah, it's great being able to bring this fella off the bench, this, that, and the other. Like I thought it was a weird response, and again, it just shows that way too emotional, that overly involved in something that I think they're actually nowhere near it this year. They're nowhere near it. Like, and I'm not just, I'm saying, like, a few lads in their group chat worried about them and this, that, and the other. I'm genuinely not.
I think they're closer to 5th than they are to us.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And that's what I'm like. Ashley made a great point in the chat there. They haven't left London since the end of November.
Yeah, I did read a tweet from someone saying since the 4th of December, Liverpool and Arsenal have picked up the exact same amount of points. But in that time, Arsenal haven't left London, and Liverpool have played Manchester City, Manchester United, Spurs, Forest, and there was someone else they mentioned. Like, they were mentioning the games that Liverpool have had. But look, glory hole. Let's get into the game and stuff. I want to start at the back because I think it was a huge game for 2 people at the back. Better. Right?
Let's get into the glory hole.
I think it was a huge game for 2 people individual. Virgil van Dijk just done Virgil van Dijk things, right? Alisson was absolutely fine. I thought Trent had a much better game. But 2 for me. Tsimikas coming in for Robertson, and hasn't let us down at all this season. Tsimikas, I think it's touch and go between the both. And Konate, who I said in the build up to this, we need a massive game from Konate. We need Konate to come in and be Konate, the dominating fella that comes in and goes, no, I'm not having any more of this bullshit. And I thought he done really well. Tsimikas gets a booking early on for trying to swap jerseys with Mbeumo, I think it was. But other than that, and credit to the manager, he works it well. He switches the left backs after whatever amount of minutes. But both of them had really good games.
Yeah, Tsimikas, the fact that he's closer to Robertson is probably more a reflection on Robbo at the moment, but he has come in and done well, and he hasn't really let anyone down, which is surprising, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's certainly, I'd be honest and say, I'm eating humble pie a bit with him, because I would have had him ran out, but he's playing well. His delivery is there. He's a different type of player to Robertson. I think his set pieces are much better than Robbo's. I think his set pieces are better than Trent's. I think his dead ball delivery is very good. He's been brilliant, but enough about him. That's all the flowers he's getting. The big man is where it's at. Ibrahim Konate, for me, was the best defender in the league up until he got injured. Him and Virgil are the best partnership in the world. And since he's come back, and I've said it on this show, and we spoke about it before, I felt maybe a little bit rushed back. He only had 1 training session before
the United game. He was rushed back.
Yeah, there was only 1 training session on the Friday, played the United game, looked a bit not as assured as he usually is. And against, was it Forest? Trent was in no man's land constantly, or it could have been Spurs, I don't know. And he was just doing too much work, and it just alarm bells ringing, you know what I mean? That he's been overworked here for a player who's only coming back from a knee injury. But I think yesterday he was absolutely immense. Big man. comes in up against. We spoke about Brentford being a good side there, and all right, we've got good results down there, but Johan Visse and Brian Mbeumo have given us huge problems in the past. And we needed Kanate. We needed his recovery pace. We needed his strength, especially up against Visse. And I thought he was brilliant. I thought he bossed them. I thought, right, he had a few breaks. But when you've got a player like that who can do so much, he can recover. He's good in the air, wins his tackles. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant yesterday. And I was delighted to see him because it looked like the first sort of glimpse of the old Kanate back, and it couldn't happen at a better time. Do you know what I mean? We get through those tricky fixtures, those aways. We have Ipswich at home next in the league. If we can just start saying, right, players are back here, let's motor on, let's push through them gears again, I think it's perfect timing. No disrespect to Jarell Kwanzaa, but that lad looks, I don't know if he looks short of confidence or overconfident. We might have said that before on a show or maybe in the chat, in WhatsApp or whatever, but when he comes in, he's at a stage, now he's only young, he's inexperienced. When he comes in, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, you're on edge. Whether you like it or not, you're on edge. But at least now, Kanate being back, and if we can get Gomez back soon, it makes us really strong. And it just, as you said, the best defensive record in the league, best attacking record in the league. We're getting our players back now. We're getting our Colossus back at the back with Virgil, the two of them. I mean, I can't speak highly enough about the pair of them. We had to listen about Arsenal centre-backs being this and that. These two blow them out of the bleed water. Like, these two have everything. And Gaslight FC will tell you that, you know, oh, they're this and they're that. Liverpool just got on with their business. Do you know what I mean? We just got on and we do our business. We don't fucking need the accolades. We don't need people to be saying, you know, oh, Kanate is better than William Saliba. We know Kanate is better than William Saliba. We know Virgil van Dijk is better than Gabriel. We don't need Gary Neville to tell us that. We don't need Alan Shearer, you know, to affirm, oh, no, they're the best. Let them say the Arsenal ones are the best. I wouldn't swap Air 2 for fucking anybody in world football. Virgil van Dijk has been, I'd say, the best centre-back in the world this year, and Kanate was as good as him up until the injury, if not a little bit better. And we can't ask for more than that. And to get them back playing together, get Alisson back. Alisson has been a bit jittery since he came back as well, but look, these things happen. You come back from an injury. Some players hit the ground running and some players don't. If we get these lads back and we get the team, the strongest team out there, and just use the squad a bit more, you know, don't be afraid to use the squad to give them breaks. There's no way this Liverpool team will be stopped, in my opinion. The games are running out for the others, and, you know, to have Kanate there, to have Virgil van Dijk, it gives you that assurance that it'll be harder to beat Liverpool than maybe it has been over these last few weeks.
Do you know what actually as well was good to see? Alisson saving shots again.
Yeah, that was a nice turn up for the books.
It's nice when keepers do that, isn't it, though?
But let's be honest, like, if I'm being totally honest, he hasn't been great since he's come back.
No.
He hasn't, and it's been a bit, he actually, like, he's been, I'd say, yeah, well below par by his standard, to be honest. But he looked way more like himself yesterday. And it's like, we're used to Alisson making the ridiculous and sublime just look mundane and normal, and he hasn't really been doing that. But yeah, I think it was huge yesterday that we seen him saving shots again.
Yeah, it's Glenn Boylan says he feels we still need a centre half in this window. We get an injury, we're bollocks. Glenn, in my opinion, we won't be signing anyone in this window.
We're not getting anyone.
I don't think we'll do any business in this window. What I think we need to look at with the centre half thing is that Joe Gomez must be closing in on a return. I would say he feels like he's out about a month. And the thing with Jarell Kwanzaa is, I think Jarell Kwanzaa actually needs Liverpool to start winning a few games comfortably. Where 70 minutes in, 75 in, you're 3 up, and you go, Jarell, get on there for 15 and get yourself back into a stride. Because with Jarell Kwanzaa, I think he actually looks like a player that needs regular football. That's really, and I don't think it's an overconfidence or maybe a bit of lack of confidence. But the Ipswich team didn't help him at the start of the season. He had a bit of a bad one against Brighton in the League Cup, wasn't it? And then he's come in at times. He goes right back. Do you remember at home? Was it home to City? He comes on and plays right back for a few minutes.
Yeah, but, it was really well. But then
I think like we're at home to Ipswich. We've a home game against Ipswich. We've Lille. We've Ipswich. We've Wolves at home coming up. I think out of them three, I'd love Liverpool to be 2 or 3 up off 65 and go, right, Grant, Jarrell, you're first man on the pitch here. Get on there and start building yourself back up. He just looks a bit unsure of himself when he goes in, but he's a fucking really, really good centre back. Don't let this bit of form throw you. But when Glenn says sign another centre back, couple of reasons we won't. We have them there. They're coming back. Jarrell Quansah's there. Joe Gomez will be back, and they won't do anything until the Virgil van Dijk situation is sorted anyway, one way or the other. Brendan, back to you. We've talked about Simicast there. We've talked about Kanate and how big it was for them to come in and have good games. But one thing I want to touch on, midfield wise, I thought Gravenberch was really good again. McAllister was good. I thought Szoboszlai looked a little bit more all action for me. And you can talk about the midfield if you want, but I want to get onto something here where my biggest thing with Arne Slot yesterday was he throws players at it. He throws your Elliott at it. He throws Chiesa at it. He throws Jones at it. He throws Nunez at it. He's not afraid to get in and mix it up. And I think that's been a little bit, he's been a void of that a little bit in the last little while. And it turns the game. Are you hoping this is a signal that, listen, I am willing to use these players. I'm willing to use them in tight situations or for certain games, because there's a lot of worry going around that he doesn't fancy Elliott. Is Chiesa going to get a game? Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he throws a lot of players at it there yesterday. And I was, do you know what? Even, I'm probably saying something different if we drew, but I was delighted he was throwing them at it. That was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I think throwing them at it is probably the wrong phrase to use, because I actually think that the subs he made actually brought us a bit of control. I mean, you are more controlled in the way we are moving forward.
Probably the wrong thing to say. I meant in the case of it's a big game, it's tight.
It wasn't a desperation sort.
He's trusting them. It wasn't Hells has dealt our last 10 lumping balls. We moved. We just kept doing what we were doing. We remained steadfast in our idea of how we wanted to build up. And look at the way, like the pass from Elliott for the first goal is it's brilliant, and it's kind of one you're missing for a while. The one down the side by Trent does really well, to put it back in. Yeah, I just think he rolled the dice with a few lads that we probably haven't seen as much as we probably would have liked, and that was the most impressive thing for me yesterday about is that, like, the longer the game went on, it didn't descend into panic and chaos and hope for something to just bobble around the box and get on the end of it. Similar to the goal we get away last year at Forest, the last minute, where we're just clipping balls into the box aimlessly. We were moving the ball well, and then if you look at the second one, it's a brilliant counter attack, expertly finished. I thought that was the most impressive part for me. That it didn't seem like it wasn't like do or die that we got two. It was kind of like they finally broke down the walls. The 37 shots, and he actually got one, and then for Dawson Klein with the expected goals with something like 4.7, which would suggest that we created good opportunities that we probably should have done a little bit more with in the first half, especially Gakpo's one after the pass from Salah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't, and I just, to be honest with you, I hope, obviously we'll see what the story is with Jota. You'll never hang your hopes on him, but I just think I think the way to look at it now is if he's available now, it's a bonus. I think in games.
I'd be surprised if he's not back into the during the week.
Yeah, hopefully. Look,
there's rumour that it's a thigh injury, which is never.
I've never heard.
But Emmet, I'm just going to say something here, Hawk. Anytime you say there's rumour with something, 99% that ends up just being that follows it. So that's the God honest truth, mate.
It was said on a
WhatsApp, was it?
No, it was said on an international feed for the games. I think Kev said it on the show after the game yesterday. It was said by the commentary.
He said the words from Jota was, or the word from the club was that he managed to play the half an hour, but he did feel a niggle during that time, and told the medical team afterwards. So when you look at it, he's running around, he's banging around the city ground there like there's not a bother on him. You know, it's probably just something where they go, right, look, it's going to take. He probably comes away from that game on Wednesday night, wherever night it was, and they say to him, "Listen, it's going to take a couple of days. You're not going to play the weekend. You'll be fine for
the same
afterwards."
time, it is Jota, so if you didn't see him for 4 to 6 weeks, you wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but
like,
there's probably new special card released on FIFA, so he's just up to his bollocks with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I just saw Jota injured the day the team of the year drops. So,
yeah,
you know,
for the FIFA. Yeah,
Hawk.
Look, to be honest, I think whatever happens with Jota will be a conversation for another day. But we were missing him yesterday, and you still have someone like Kaza and Darwin to come off the bench and do that. Look, again, I don't want to be overly negative on Darwin. He needs to do that more. I'd love to see him doing that more.
Well, I'm going to get on to him in a bit now. Don't be getting ahead of yourselves.
No, I really hope he kicks on. But yeah, look, the fact of the matter was, it wasn't some mad dash to 3 points yesterday at 90 minutes. It was just literally getting there in the end, in terms of we battered them for large parts, and they got a few chances off breaks, which they will do, because like Keith said, they have two fellas up front who are fucking just flyers in behind and leader finishers, and they prove problems for a lot of teams. It was brilliant. And again, in terms of the significance, I think it could be huge for players like Kaza and Darwin and even Elliott. And to just go back to Emma's point on rumours, there was rumours that fucking Kaza was homesick and all that and the other. Well, I'll tell you one thing, he didn't look homesick to me yesterday, running around that place. He was fucking buzzing off his tits. Same way he was when he scored against Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup. Fella looks like all his Christmases come at once. He led his country to a European Championship. Like, there's life in that dog, yeah. There's definitely a player there as well. You can see the way he plays, and he's just another one now that I hope he can keep fit. But I agree with Gatman Stab as well in the chat. I can't believe how difficult this is actually to kind of say these names in different orders and even call you by your government names. I don't know how these fuckers keep this up as a full-time job, but genuinely, like, imagine your man Troop sitting there waiting for his dinner and his missus is calling him by his real name and he's just staring into space because he doesn't realise he's being called.
Adrian, your dinner is ready.
His name is probably Morris or something like that. Like, or like 8 Mile. Remember, your real name is Clarence. Clarence, not like that. Something stupid like that. But fucking deadly. Just we showed a little. There's fucking a few more strings to the bow yesterday, I thought, in a time when we desperately needed a win, to be honest with you.
We definitely
did.
Man. Hawk, can I ask you a question? A couple of players, right? Harvey Elliott. A couple of quotes from Harvey Elliott, right? So I'll put them up there for people to see. Ashley's provided them. Thanks very much. Harvey Elliott, when asked on links with a summer move away, he says, Liverpool is my club, Liverpool is my team. I want to fight for my place, fight for my position in the team. And then he continued on, it's down to me to put in the effort, the hard work, the desire to make that achievement. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep fighting. Hawk, look, words like that, and then coming on and having a big say in both goals, to be fair, it just brings me back to, we have to see more of these players in different circumstances, whether it's starting a game or coming on when you're in control of a game or coming in when you're chasing a game. Harvey Elliott and others are trying and trying. He said it there. He's going to keep fighting. He'll never give up. He wants to be a Liverpool player. And that must be so good for him to come on yesterday, that for Slot to say to him, right, we still need something here, on you go, and puts him into that position where he's nearly the focal point. Harvey Elliott in that little position where, he's going to be the one to find space and stuff. But it must be so good for him to come on, give that ball to Trent, that leads to the first, and then give that ball to Darwin that leads to the second. He must be hopping off that pitch going, right, perfect. And Slot's looking going, nice, and it just gives us another option that you feel like that them options are starting to fade away a little bit.
Yeah, I criticised them last week because I thought they probably didn't grab the bull by the horns when he got his chance at the FA Cup. But he is a player that can come on and change things. He came on last year, I think, got the winner against Palace.
Palace away.
Yeah. He's been a little bit unfortunate in his time in Liverpool with the players that he's been up against. Like, I don't see him shifting any of the three that's in the midfield, and you don't see him shifting Salah. So where does he actually come in and play? But those words there that are still on screen, they sound like words that were actually said to him by Slot. He probably sat him down and had a conversation with him and maybe said, you need to work a little bit harder. I would doubt the desire. If we were all given the chance to play for Liverpool, we'd run through brick walls.
Not for long though. I'd be bollocks.
But no, he's he holds the ball really well. Brendan mentioned the ball through to Trent. He has that in his locker. He's a special footballer. He's a special footballer, and I just think he's been a little bit unlucky with trying to get into the team. He had an absolutely storming run in the team until he did his ankle against Leeds. He was keeping Henderson out of the team back then, if you remember. Yeah. He's a quality footballer. It was great to see him so much involved. And look, I think we played around in front of Brentford towards the end of the second half yesterday. And then there was times where we just run at them. Defenders hate when you run at them. And Elliott loves running at a defender. And that's where he got the second goal, certainly for Darwin. And it was Trent running at the defence with the ball through from Elliott. It was the thing that decided the game. It was the thing that caught Brentford off guard. I love Harvey Elliott. He's living all of our dreams. So more power to him. But I would like to see a little bit more of him. Hopefully in these games coming up, I don't like to call him a dead rubber because I'd like to finish as high as possibly can in the Champions League. But like I said earlier, I think we have a squad that can rotate heavily enough and still get results in these games. So I'd like to see, we spoke about it earlier on, or maybe it was yesterday, Salah maybe getting a rest. He looked a little bit tired. I'd like to see maybe somebody coming in and playing these games ahead of Salah. We all probably know he's going to start. He probably demands to start. I don't mean in a bad way. Fella has records to break. But I wouldn't mind seeing us rotating and giving these lads a bit of a run to get them more up to speed, to get them prepared for minutes that they're going to have to play between now and the end of the season.
Yeah. I think Elliott was unlucky, when a new manager comes into a club,
he's a great
and you pick up an injury. Yeah, but so did Carvalho, and he was shipped off because he was a wretch. So, you can't bank on the fact that you had a good pre-season.
No, I just mean in the sense of the position he put him in.
He was. No, he had got an excellent pre-season, but when the trust was developing, I think, for Slot and the players, I think he was out of the limelight, he was out of the team. I think that can be hard. And when you read some of the stuff, and you're like, he's getting transferred out, it didn't really I get that he doesn't have a natural position or whatever. But as a player, you can put him in and he'll give you everything. So it never made sense to me that we'd be looking to move him on. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't ring true. But I'm glad to see him coming back and putting.
I think he's a great option to have.
He is a great option. He's an attacking-minded player. But
he's a lock picker. That's what he is. He's great
but the thing is, like, when you look at him and you say he's been unlucky to not get in the team. Listen, I'm okay if we 5 midfielders and you don't know who's going to fucking play every week because they're all killing each other to try to get in the team. I just think Elliott's been on the outside a little bit. It's been Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Jones. And it's been those four rotated. Endo's seen a little bit more action centre half than anything else. And Elliott's been the one that's kind of a few minutes here, a few minutes there. I'm not asking for Elliott to be a starter every week for Liverpool, but I want him to be in the conversation for starting, and he hasn't been in that conversation for a little while. He's been just an afterthought up to now. What's
Brendan laughing at?
Why are you laughing at, Brendan?
Get man Stab said Troops' his real name is Tony Adams.
Glory. Just let you finish your milk there. Just on Kaza before we move to the main man. He gets that goal against Accrington Stanley. There's been an awful lot of kind of false starts from he might play this week. You think he play? He's injured, and you gave the kind of the time span a bit of grace because he had come in, unfit. He gets a couple of minutes in the league games, and he disappears for a long time, and he comes back, and then it's a little injury or a sickness and stuff like that. But he gets that goal against Accrington, and then he comes on yesterday, and he's busy when he comes on. You see the reactions to the goals, and look, I don't want Chiesa to be remembered for look at his reactions to goals. Like that means fucking like that's pointless. Do you know what I mean? Like if that's the case, sign the fella in row 2, by the corner flag. Do you know what I mean? Because he's doing as much as Chiesa is. But when you look at his, when you do look at his reaction and you look at him, it would have been very easy for that second one for him to just go, I'm just running all the way here and I'm going to have a shot myself. But he doesn't. He picks the right pass out and he's part of a team goal. But as an option, and I'm not saying starting, I'm saying as another option where you can go, he can get a game here, he can come on, he can influence games. You know, we bang on about Arsenal and others where you go, they haven't got enough players that are influencing games now because Saka's out or whatever, or if Odegaard's out. This can be another massive plus for us if we can get him fit and reared and influencing games, because that's where most teams are falling down. Like Arsenal's problem is players influencing games, and not enough of them are doing it. If Liverpool can add another one to what's already there, I think it's huge for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just Brendan mentioned it earlier about the fact that we brought in Nunez and Chiesa, into the game, and they sort of caused, I don't like to say chaos, but the type of players that they are. Chiesa is a little bit of that ilk, you know what I mean? He's not going to just hit the touchline like a Gakpo and be a bit aesthetic looking, maybe, you know what I mean? Gets the ball and does nice movements. Like Chiesa's a bit more helter-skelter, similar to Nunez. Nunez can't finish for shite. We know this up until the other day, and Chiesa has been unlucky in the cameos. So in the cameos he's had, he's done a lot of running, a lot of hustling, bustling. Seems to go down at the blade and gust of wind, they'll knock him over and he's looking for frees. That'll get put out of his game as it goes on. But we're seeing in the little the little cameos, he's taking shots, he's been unlucky. Even in the Accrington game, he hits the post before he gets the goal. And before that, which game was it? And he's Southampton, was it?
Cleared off the line, didn't he?
Yeah, he'd about 4 shots. He had them cleared off the line and that, and he's been unlucky not to have scored more. And you know yourself, sometimes when you're a new signing and you're an attacker and you want to impress, you want an early goal to do that, and he's been very unlucky stop-start. I'm not trying to say he's been a success by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a £12 million player that we brought in that has huge pedigree, fucking huge. The upside of him, there's no downside, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't work out, you'll flip him back to Italy. You won't be stuck with him. He's not going to be a drain on you. This fella, it was a win-win situation for us. Right, we haven't seen the benefit of it yet, but I think if we're clever, it doesn't have to be Mo Salah or Chiesa. Chiesa comes on and just plays all over the place. He just buzzes around and will impact games from different positions. He can play through the middle, he can play from the left, he can play from the right. And I think to have an asset like that, even more so than Darwin, because Darwin's finishing hasn't been great, we know this, but he causes fucking nightmares for centre-backs. And every time he plays someone, you hear the centre-backs do not like to play against Nunez, because he runs, he's lively, he's dragging them, he's hitting them. And Chiesa can do something similar from a wider area. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to pin him down. And I think if we can give him more minutes, his attitude, look, we don't want him to be a cheerleader, but the attitude of wanting to be involved and wanting to, celebrate like he scored a winning goal in the Champions League final. Like, yeah, that can be all show, but you believe it with him. From the minute we signed him, he was going on like a bleeding kid at Christmas, like he was signing for Liverpool. And that has never waned. We've read the stories about he's going back to Italy, he's not happy, he's homesick, he can't settle, he's going here, he's going there, he's going everywhere. And still when he plays, you're looking at him and you're thinking, as Brendan said earlier, he doesn't look like a fella who's homesick. He doesn't look like a fella who wants to be out of Liverpool. He looks like someone that wants to make it happen. So I think in the second half of the season, let's use him when he's available. Because as you said, Arsenal, they're looking for goals. They're bringing on Tomiyasu or bleeding some other defender that he in. Do you know what I mean?
Like, they're looking for a goal and you bring on Tomiyasu. Is that what you just said?
That's what Lego has built a squad there of just defenders and all that, and then he's putting on a bleeding crying face about squad depth. Do me a favour, Liverpool's bench, he was talking about Liverpool's substitute changing the game. Okay, as I said, Chiesa cost 12 million, 13 million. Darwin was an expensive player, but we had academy players on that bench. Do you know what I mean? It was Harvey Elliott, it was
Curtis Jones.
Jones, it's
Bradley.
Bradley, Kwanzaa,
Kelleher.
Endo, who called Kelleher. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we had a world star bench, but we have a good quality of player on that bench. So fuck this shit about, they have all this, they bought this, they bought. Liverpool have run themselves well. We have a good squad, we have a competitive squad, and we can bring on Darwin Nunez and we can bring on Federico Chiesa to go in there and try and change it. They brought on, not in this game, was it when Saka got injured and you bring in Raheem Sterling? And I'm sorry, look, people might like Raheem Sterling. He is, if you look in the dictionary for busted flush, his face will come up on it because he's finished and he's not a threat. Trossard will get them the odd goal, but his play doesn't be great. Arsenal just haven't built a squad the way Liverpool have, and I think we're going to see that. And it'll be the likes of Chiesa, it'll be the likes of Darwin. I said earlier about Divock Origi, the year he comes in at Christmas, scores against Everton when little arms flips one back off the crossbar for him, and he goes on that run and ends up scoring in a Champions League final. Do you know, we had 6 months where we struck lightning in a bottle. We probably should have sold him at that point. I think Darwin can have that same impact if he builds on them goals. If he goes back to missing easy chances, maybe not. But if he can build on that, that's 2 weapons that we haven't seen in the first half of the season. Different reasons.
The mad thing about Sterling is I watched them against who were they playing in the United in the Cup, and he played. Good. And the thing is, right, the funny thing is, like, Sterling, I think, is trying to do stuff, but literally his only job, and I feel everyone's only job in that Arsenal team, is just give it to Odegaard. The amount of time Sterling got the ball and went, right, I run at this fella, is Havertz coming to me to get it? Is the fullback going around me? Because you remember when he played at City, it was an awful lot of in that pocket, bang, 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 second man running, and getting in the back post. But the amount of times he got it and went to look to do something, and then everyone was like groaning at him, and he just went, here, I'll just give it to Odegaard and he'll put it in the box. And I feel a little bit, I can't stand him, but I feel a little bit sorry for him in the footballing sense. Right, Nunez. Let's talk money here. Nunez, here's the quote, Seany, from that interview we're talking about. He said, "The truth is I'm going through a rough patch, and like I said before, I stay focused on my job and giving everything to Liverpool. These 2 goals will help my confidence." Right? Now, sorry, did I call you Seany? I don't know why I did. Brendan. The big thing here is that he scores away at Forest last year. Big goal. He scores 2 away at Newcastle last year. Big goals. But I felt, if you look back at those, I think they're in times where he's not under pressure. I don't think he's under huge pressure for the team and, the place in the team, or people are on his back constantly. This is different yesterday. People are on his back constantly. Like, he's not good enough, he shouldn't play, he's fucking useless, he's this, that, and the other. And we kind of looked at those goals against Forest and Newcastle and went, is this the time where he kicks on? Whereas they were probably just goals to him and, whatever happens. Could this be where he kicks on? Maybe not, but could it be? It's a different circumstance for me. It's one where he's under massive pressure. He could feel like people to go, they don't even think I can play football. You know what I mean? None of them back me. Could this be a bit different, Seany? Because they're 2 clutch goals from a guy that's under massive pressure. Could that just release the pressure and let him go out and see what he can do here? Or is it just one of those where, look, it's 2 goals, he'd be shy next week?
Do you know what? It's a good point. The point you're making about it kind of being the goals, he's getting under pressure. And again, like you're right in saying that the criticism has been, like, he's being criticised by Liverpool legends now, which wasn't the case a couple of times. Like, it was normally just sections of the fan base are idiots on social media, but Fowler has had a go recently, and Carragher as well in the latest overlap. And
that was probably the script that was delivered to his house from Sky, in fairness.
No, but Gav, if we're being totally honest, Carragher's criticism was it was on the head. Like, what he said was true. He just basically said he looked better in the club side because it was a little bit more fucking helter-skelter. Yeah, whereas now it's way more control, and there's just a lot of time where you're just looking at him and he's just standing around because it doesn't really fit into the system. And then again, the ball man at the helm come out and said, "No, that's my fault. That's my fault." And for me, that's huge. That is such a fucking huge thing to do. Slot could have just come up with any canned answer there and pawned it off because he knows in his heart of hearts that Darwin's probably not in his long-term bleeding plans. But he didn't. He turned around and says, that's actually my fault. To be fair, I should be doing more to make sure that the opportunities he has to score are suited to the type of player that he is. Slot put his hand up and says, that is my fault. And for me, that's huge from him. I just, again, going back to Slot, it's perfectly handled.
Yeah.
You see in the interview, we already talked about it. I really, Gav, I'd love nothing more for him to start on Tuesday now and get another brace and get another couple in Bologna where he just fucking at home to whoever we're playing, Lille, just make it look easy, and then give him a run out against Ipswich where he plays down the middle. Because to be honest with you, although Lucho's had some really good performances in the 9, I think you're starting to see now the limitations with it. I don't think it suits absolutely every game. And I wouldn't.
It doesn't suit when a team sits deep. Definitely not.
Yeah. So, look, it will be huge for us if he kicked on. Like, I don't like the revisionism of turning around and telling people they were wrong about him the whole time at the same time. But one thing I will say, and I could do better myself, is just fucking get behind them. Just get behind it. Get behind every single player that plays for this team till the rest of the season. Whether they're contract bandits or whatever they are, just get fucking behind them because, like, I'm parroting Gareth Roberts now, and I don't want to do that, but I just think what he said yesterday was so well put on the Anfield Wrap. If you haven't seen it, the post-match point, just like, it's there for us, and it's up to us now to kind of just get behind the team and give them all we have. Whether you put your agendas aside, if you think Tsimikas is better than Robertson, you think Robertson's better than Tsimikas, if you think Trent's a wanker because he's fucking up, doesn't want to play for Liverpool anymore, if you think Salah and Reyes are looking for too much money, if you think Darwin's not good enough, if you think Curtis Jones not good enough, just get behind them now, is what I'd say. And it was brilliant to see that yesterday, and that he showed me something that I actually didn't think he had in the locker. He spoke very, very well, and obviously it's a lot easier to do it in your native language. I think they make a little bit of a meme out of him when he speaks English. Like after the 2 goals against Newcastle, they make a meme out of him when he says something in English, in broken English, and everyone's like, look at him trying to speak English, he's fucking gassed. Whereas I'd imagine if they had given him the opportunity to speak in his native language at the time, he would have probably given you something a little bit more fucking...
Speaks really well when you actually see him speaking.
Yeah.
Do
you know what it comes across as? And I feel bad saying this because it's actually not something I would have attributed to his style of play. He came across as a really intelligent bloke, and rational and completely aware of his situation, his personal situation.
Because he says there,
which when you watch him play, you're kind of thinking he does things without reason and this like that. Yeah, and look, and again, that's probably shallow from me and an observation that says more about me than it does about Darwin Nunez, that I thought he's a bit fucking brain dead. If I'm just calling a spade, but to see him speak yesterday very eloquently and in touch, and it showed me a completely different side to him. And I'd love not look. I put me hand. I don't think I've ever wanted a Liverpool player to succeed as much as I have Darwin Nunez, because he's the first like mega money signing where we brought in and you weren't completely sure about in the age of social media, where he's literally just had cunts on his back from this team, from opposition team, social media, just on his back from minute one. Like, you remember the stuff people were putting out about, like, footballers read this and do read this stuff. Just to see that yesterday was magic, and the boys getting behind them and the celebrations and the boys headlocking them at the end, and Elliott holding up his shirt in front of the travelling fans. And one thing you will say, despite everyone saying he's this, that and the other, what you can never accuse the fans in the ground of is never having his back. They always sing that song. Nunez, every time he touches the ball, they said it. And I'll give credit to him. People are probably associating with his meltdowns and all that, but Mark Goldbridge, Brent de Cesar, whatever you want to call him, he's using his own, like, just Brendan. So, just Brendan, me, Mark Goldbridge sort of thing. He said yesterday on his, he did a thing on a channel he has called That's Football, and he spoke about Liverpool. And he said this, he goes, it kind of pains me to say it, but he said, I think a lot of clubs around the country, especially Manchester United, can learn about how the fans in the ground treat Darwin Nunez, and they've always gave him their full support, no matter what was being said online, and he repaid them yesterday. And he goes, and to be honest with you, as much as it paid me to see him score in 2 minutes and 2 goals in the last minutes to see him help Liverpool win a game, he says there was part of me as a football fan that felt really delighted for him and for the people who stood by him and backed him in the ground. He says, and we can learn a lot from him because they fucking built Xerxes off after a half an hour a couple of weeks ago, which is never nice to see.
Oh, fuck, I was crying.
It's never ever nice to see. Darwin, look, kick on. He has the opportunity to make himself the fucking cult heroes of cult heroes. Like, I'd love nothing more than to have in the gallery to be able to pull up pictures like the one of Van Dijk sitting on the bus with the Premier League trophy and all his medals hanging around his neck. I'd love nothing more than a picture of Darwin Nunez on the top of a bus going around Merseyside howling the Premier League title. Because you'd be able to say, look at that mad cunt. Probably hasn't worked out for him. Didn't score as many goals as we'd hope. He came in, he gave us some really good memories, and there he is with a Premier League medal. Same with Endo. Same with players like Endo and them. Like, that's just how I feel about it, because I just it's a privilege to play for Liverpool, and I don't think he
underestimates that privilege.
Exactly. That's what I don't think he takes that for granted. I was genuine. I'm not joking, you lads. I was genuinely blown away by his interview yesterday.
Well, he continues.
I'm not even being funny. It was fucking. It just made me think of the fella. He has something behind his ears.
Yeah,
100% there's something there.
It's something you said as well. Like, Slot they speak to Slot about him, and he was like, "Look, that's probably is down to me." He basically said, "Look, we're not playing to his strengths. If we actually did massively play to his strengths, we would be putting a lot of dependency on one player. Rather than he's trying to play to everyone's strengths to a certain point and get more people involved." But like Hawk, right? Nunez continues in this interview, says, "I think it's really important to keep my head up. I've got to work because I need to improve, and I stay strong with this mentality and with the support of family and of course the fans." He doesn't feel like the fans have let him down and or left him behind. Like Brendan says there, I don't know how many times I've been in Anfield and his name gets rings around the place. And I mean, if he chases down a guy, right, and gets a block in and it goes out for a throw on the halfway line, the fucking whole crowd is up singing his name. Everyone wants him to do well because, especially when you're in the ground, the effort he puts in, running around, tracking, and it looked a bit aimless at times. I think it's improved massively this year, and he knows when to press, he knows when to go. Now, there's some stupid stuff. Like yesterday, he scores, he gets booked, he scores again, he tries to cross a ball, and then he goes over and tries to break fucking Nathan Collins' ankle. Right? And how the fuck he gets away with it, I don't know. But that's just him in a nutshell. But Hawk, look, there's something. I actually believe there is something in him, more from the words he said there yesterday after the game, than the game itself. You know what I mean? He's very, like, people said, he's turned off his Instagram, he deleted all this stuff, and people were getting to him. And it probably was getting to him. But they were really good words to hear yesterday. I'm in a bad spot, but I'm working on it. I'm determined to work on it. I'm determined to keep this mentality. I've the support of my family, I've supported the fans, the teammates. You seen it there yesterday. I go back to it. We seen goals of Forest, we seen goals of Newcastle. This was different yesterday. I genuinely believe this was different yesterday.
Yeah. Only if there is a small part of the fan base that have stuck with it. Me and you in our WhatsApp group would be two that would have been backing him, more than anybody else. And even us, we probably started questioning ourselves in the last couple of weeks. Probably thought, look, it's unfortunate.
Just doesn't suit.
Hasn't worked out. It doesn't suit him. Look, whatever. Probably move on in the summer. And I'm not saying that I've completely changed my mind, but like that interview, I did not like. I only saw it this morning when Seany mentioned it. It does,
Brendan,
like, do you know what I mean?
Brendan that mentioned it.
Oh, sorry, Brendan.
No, Seany did mention it. That was Seany in the WhatsApp.
Seany in the WhatsApp mentioned it. Sorry, I thought it was you, Brendan.
Brendan brought it up on this show.
Yeah.
It did feel different. And I was listening to the Anfield rap, and they said I can't remember which one it was that said it, but they think he doesn't score the second if he doesn't score the first. So they think that even in that space of a couple of minutes, it gives him that kind of confidence to then go and do what he did for the second one, because we've seen him with that second attempt before. And
I wouldn't have
plays
been
over
surprised
the
on the second if that ball's rolled him and he tries to put a first time back across the keeper into the far top corner.
yeah.
But then he takes a touch and just says, I'm just lashing it past this fella. It was exactly like Alan Shearer done in his career for years and years. Get a spell and just fucking malavolve the thing at the goal, and no one will react to it.
I think he kind of he is a confident, like we all know now, he's definitely a confidence player. But like even that kind of the adulation that he got from scoring the first one, like Brendan said, that the players around him. The video that I saw this morning of after the game, I didn't see that till this morning. Like Brendan said, getting him in a headlock, and it was just, you can tell that they all absolutely love him as well. Even the words that Virgil said, I'd love nothing more than to see him go on now and like Brendan said, in these next couple of games and get another couple of goals. Liverpool fans are famous for, as long as you give everything you have on the pitch, they'll get behind you. You saw it, and I think I've mentioned this before. Robbo, when he went on that run and press against City in one of his first few games, and the crowd absolutely loved that. That was him, instant legend. And that's Darwin as well. He hasn't been scoring goals, but I think he offers a hell of a lot more other than his goals. Right, he's a goal scorer. He should be scoring more goals. But he does offer an awful lot more. I think defensive wise, winning balls back up high. He's now added these goals. Hopefully he can go now and add a few more. Maybe we play to his strengths a little bit more. Maybe when he's on the pitch, we maybe switch things up a bit and play towards his strengths. I didn't hear the Slot interview where he said that. I'll try and find it, but I would love him. I would love him to work. I still probably see him going in the summer because it's probably. But let's. I sent a text message into the WhatsApp this morning, like Brendan just said. Let's just get behind him from now till the end of the season. Okay, it didn't work out, but thanks for the memories. But let's get him. Let's get him leaving with a few medals and a bit of silverware.
Glory, just the last word on it, because like Hawk says there, we probably sees him leaving in the summer. And we talking about the contract situations. A lot of people have got to the situation where they go, look, I'm of this opinion anyway. I don't give a bollocks about the contract situation at the minute. If they all win a league title at the end of the season, if they all want to go off, let them. Right? They've done their fucking job. They've done what they've been asked to do. Or, you go, you be annoyed over it, whatever, but they go. It's a little bit like this with Darwin Nunez. It could be up in the air. It could be a longer term project for Slot where he looks and says, no, I have to do this for the first 6 months. I need to do this for the second 6 months. Then I can go. Darwin's down the list of stuff I need to do because I've plenty up front to balance that kind of that balancing act he has, I suppose. But he is a value of us, isn't he? To us, I mean. Like we've 17 league games left, we've European games left, we've League Cup games left, we've FA Cup games left. We just need to maximise his value to this team for 6 months and then take stock. And that yesterday can only do him. It can only do him good. It can only do everyone good.
Yeah, I mean, the finishes were excellent finishes. We actually seen a clip on Reddit or Twitter or one of them, and it was a compilation of his goals for Liverpool, and he's actually scored great goals for Liverpool and different goals for Liverpool. The variety of goals, like the one against Brentford when he lobs the keeper, the little back flick against Madrid, against Fulham, he gets one as well. He gets fucking the Rangers one that he rolls in. The variation on his goals, the Newcastle goals, brilliant goals. The variation are brilliant, but you can't get past the misses and the high profile misses and the sheer volume of misses compared to goals scored. And it's unfortunate, but the thing with Darwin Nunez is, for me, and it was touched on by the lads, he will leave Liverpool. Liverpool have a lot to do in the summer, so maybe he doesn't leave. I don't know. I think we'll have a squad of about 3 players the way it's going at the moment, but he will leave Liverpool.
Bangers in.
100%. Yeah. Get the old boots dusted off. The boys are going over for a trial, but he will leave Liverpool more than likely. Hopefully, with as Hawk just said there, and and Brendan touched on. He leaves Liverpool with medals, and he leaves Liverpool with good memories, and he leaves Liverpool with people saying, right, he might have missed his chances in games, and similar to Endo, they never gave less than 100%. Maybe that 100% wasn't what we expected. You know what I mean? Maybe we hold them, too high or whatever, but they never found it in. They never dialed it in. Darwin Nunez never, ever dialed it in with Liverpool. He walked his balls off. And as we've said about the interview, you see a different side to the man. You see a fella who isn't just this bleeding caveman that everyone thinks he is, that runs around headbutting bleeding vending machines and all that. That's not what this fella is about. He's an intelligent fella. He cares. He's a smart guy. He wants to be a success. He wants to be remembered as a Liverpool player who done the right things. And the thing I'll remember him for is, Brendan touched on, the crowd chant his name every game because he puts the effort in. And there's been other players that have, I wouldn't say similar to Emile Heskey. Emile Heskey is a player that comes to mind who is a forward who walked his balls off at Liverpool and others got the benefit of it. And I see Darwin like that. I think he's worked hard. Others have got the benefit, but he's been unfortunate with the high profile misses that he's had. But look, if we get 6 months of a Darwin that can go in there, or whatever it is, 4 months, 4.5 months, and he can go out there and he can just put a few goals on the board, he creates a threat. There was a period where he wasn't, before he went through the bad drought he's been on now, and I think we played Newcastle in the game, and he fucking terrorised Botman and Schär. It wasn't it was probably could have been last season actually.
It was the 4-2 last season, was it?
He ran them from bleeding pillar to post. He legged them all over the place, and they couldn't deal with him. And defenders just don't like dealing with him because everything about his game.
He's probably the quickest player in the league.
Yeah, but he has
problem,
everything except for that coolness in front of goal.
But you see, you have to keep coming back to that because, people in the chat there are saying, listen, he's missed plenty of chances, but he's getting in the right positions. And getting in the right positions...
a lot less this season.
Yeah, but
he's not been given the chances.
No, but getting in the right positions is brilliant if you're converting 70% of them chances. Do you know what I mean? You're allowed miss, even if you convert 50% of them chances. Every time you get every 2 times you get a chance, one of them goes in the net. That's a brilliant ratio. The problem for him was he was probably scoring 20% of the chances, and all of a sudden, them misses look bigger and bigger and bigger. The amount of chances Liverpool's centre forwards get this season, I feel, is massively down on seasons gone by. I don't think Jota has had huge amount of standout chances, but that puts more pressure on you because there yesterday, Darwin Nunez has 3 chances there yesterday. One is a half chance, it comes over for a header and he heads it wide, but he's kind of caught in the way head is at the goal or the way head try it down, and then he gets 2 chances and he scores them, right? And if he goes out next week and he gets 3 chances and he scores 1 of them or 2 of them, then if his ratio starts coming up, people start forgetting about the misses. Do you know what I mean? But the misses they're a big thing, and he needs to, I suppose he needs to hone his skill. Because I don't think he's being asked to do a huge amount in the build-up for Liverpool. But if it falls to you in there, mate, get it on target at least. Get it on fucking target. If a keeper gets in the way or something, right, people tell you it's a bad miss. But
he tries to murder every ball he strikes.
Yeah. I have no issue with that. Alan Shearer made a career out of it. Alan Shearer never passed the ball into the net. Alan Shearer hammered the fucking ball into the net every time he got it.
He's an anomaly. He's an anomaly, though. I think you need to be you need to have a little bit of finesse.
Oh, but he has got the finesse. You talk about the Brentford chip last season. There's one away to Leeds.
He's about as much finesse as me trying to blade iron me short with a fucking...
Yeah, but he has it in his locker. You see, what happens is, in the mental side of the game, he's probably at the stage where he thinks, I just have to lash everything at the goal. Just lash it as hard as I can. And like I said, Shearer done that for years and years, but he was brilliant at it. But if you look at... You're talking about goals, right? Brilliant finish. 2 brilliant finishes away at Newcastle. One's a drive, one's a really well-placed, firm shot. The season before at Newcastle, takes one out of the sky, buries it past the keeper, right? He chips the keeper at Brentford, right? Last season, you look at one at Leeds, he takes it down and just passes it in with his left foot into the bottom corner. The header away at Forest. There's a huge range to what he's doing. There is a finesse to what he's doing, but he is, like Hawk said, he's a confidence player. I think if the confidence is there, he'll, like yesterday, the confidence was flying yesterday, comes inside, wraps it in the net. Whereas other times, when the confidence isn't there, you see him and you go, what the fuck is he doing? Like, he's trying to blend one into the far corner. You know, he's trying to put it up right in the corner where you're going, maybe you just take that and roll it in there, and that keeper's not getting to it. It's massively confidence, but that doesn't help us. It doesn't help. And the bigger picture of things, at the end of the day, when we look at Darwin Nunez, we go, how many has he scored and how many has he missed? And he misses too many to what he scores. If he can up what he scores a little bit, those misses will start to go away, and you'll forgive him for a few misses. Because
Haaland missed more big chances than him over the time they've been there, but Haaland scores multiples more, you know, and that's the difference.
Yeah,
that's just
but the thing about Darwin as well is what happens is because he's missed what you would class as being easy chances.
Yeah.
Every time he misses, people get on his case because he's missing chances that aren't actually easy chances, and people are going, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" He's missing chances that 10 other players have missed that weekend in there, and no one bats an eyelid. But because it's Darwin, it's every chance he misses now becomes a bad miss. It's not just the easy ones.
Yeah, that is true. But look, I think whatever happens in the next 4 or 5 months will determine where he actually goes in football. Because the funny thing with Darwin is he's the type of player who probably could end up at Villarreal scoring 12 to 13 goals in the Europa League every year and just doing a bit of damage in La Liga. Or he's the type of player that you can see fucking Napoli or Atletico Madrid nailing their colours to and just going on and running riot in that league when they play to us. And I think, because I don't think raw ability can never be questioned with the fella, because he has nearly every single attribute that you can't coach, and he has it in spades, but he's missing the most important for the one in his position, just in my opinion. I always thought he looked way more effective off the left. He needs to probably just curb his enthusiasm a little bit in front of goal, and he'll probably see his numbers fucking skyrocket. Yeah. I would love nothing more for that to be at Liverpool. Don't get me wrong. Will it happen? The jury's out, and
you could. The jury's definitely
out. And a lot of people in the chat, and to be fair to them, you're holding fire on your opinion of him. It's not about dying on hill. I think we have a big enough sample size now from Darwin Nunez to say that any criticism you have for him is probably like warranted. You can say that, but I've been guilty of it myself. I just think for the next 5 months, let's make the fella feel 10 feet tall every time he pulls on a Liverpool jersey and see what he does. And I think it could make a fucking huge.
But if that happens, right, and he could go, don't get me wrong. If you're sitting here right now, even with those 2 goals yesterday, you go, is Darwin Nunez the answer for Liverpool? Probably not. Is Jota? Probably not, right, for different reasons. But wouldn't everybody love to get to the fucking May the 25th or 26th or June the 4th or whatever the last game of the season is in all competitions and go, we have to have a big conversation here about Darwin Nunez, because for 4 months ago, we were all saying, listen, he'll go. And now we're kind of going, I hope he fucking doesn't. Now, he might still go. But if we're having that conversation, I mean, Darwin Nunez had a flying 4 months to the back end of the season. And if Darwin Nunez has a flying 4 months to the back end of the season, Liverpool are scooping trophies. That's the end of it. There's no argument.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, I think for me, and I'm sure everyone here and everyone in the chat, love to see Darwin Nunez go on a bit of run, get a bit more confidence. And we're not asking him to score 2 goals every game. It'd be great if he could, by the way. If you're watching Darwin, fucking feel free, fill your boots. But it'd be just great to go, you know what, real threat today, got an assist, got a goal, you know, doesn't score the next game, but fucking worked real hard, was really good. And we come in here on the Sunday and go, he didn't score, but geez, didn't he put a shift in? You know, and there's forwards out there that don't score every game. And really good forwards to score lots of goals, but he don't score every game, but he put a good shift in, you know, and you go, there was nothing wrong with him today. You know, he didn't get many chances, but he worked well. That's what we want to see, I think, for the remainder of the season. And if he does, it's only good for Liverpool. Hawk, I'm going to start with you on this one to finish us off. Benny said a long time ago on this, but I kept this. He says Arsenal can only get 92 points maximum now. I think they drop at least another 6 to 9 points, meaning we have 15 to 18 points of wiggle room in his opinion, or her opinion. Yesterday was massive. Now Arsenal can get 92 points. That is a maximum that they can get with their 16 league games left. Okay.
I think they drop more than 6 to 9.
Oh, that's what I was going to say to you. Do you think Arsenal can go and put, to get 92 points now, I think they need, what is that, 13 wins and a draw or something along them lines? It's something ridiculous, right?
14 wins, 2 draws and a loss, so you can only
They
afford.
don't have the minerals.
Yeah. Where are you on this, Hawk? Is right now?
I'm actually more concerned about Man City with the way they dispatched of Ipswich today.
Right.
And probably never. Yeah, no, but like that. But that's what I mean. I'd be more concerned that they could possibly get to us like we got to them and got within a point of them after being 14 behind in February 3 years ago. I just think that I just what I'm seeing from Arsenal. I know during the week or when was it they played the North London derby and Lewis Skelly is getting like they're winning 2-1 I think at the time and he's getting subbed off and he's trying to waste time and then he's going around the Emirates giving her all this and they're just too. I just think they're too emotional. You touched on that fella in the crowd yesterday. It's just I don't know. It's all the way from fans all the way up to Arteta. I think they're too emotional. I think they drop more than 6 to 9 points. Saliba could be a massive miss for them now, depending on what way this scan goes. I as long as we can just keep ticking along, I don't think anybody's catching us.
So Jono says Arsenal, and he said this earlier, I've just found it. He says Arsenal are going to have to put some run together to beat us to this league. For them to get 90 points, Arsenal would need 15 wins and 1 draw from their remaining games. No chance.
And one of them is Anfield.
And one of them is at Anfield. You think they drop more than 6 to 9 points?
Yeah, I'd say that. I think they'll probably drop around, I'd say 11, 12.
Okay. If they drop 11, 12, that's an 80-point season, which Liverpool would need 30 points from the last 17 games to top that. Yeah. City's maximum, by the way, is 86, someone says. Just to let you know. Glory, when you look at what's left, there is people pointing out Liverpool's tough away games to come. Liverpool have to go to Man City. They have to go to Chelsea. They have to go to Everton, which is a Merseyside derby. They have to go to Fulham. I'm trying to think. They have to go to Leicester. But I think they still have 7 of the bottom 10 to still play at home. But is 90 points the target here, Glory? Or is it a case of fuck the target? Just stay ahead of them. And if you can stay 9 points ahead of the rest of the season and we win it on 81 and they all finish on 70 fucking 2, who cares? But do we need to set a target here just for ourselves, even not even the team, just ourselves to go, that's where we're going, boom.
See, I think we all sort of have PTSD from previous title runs, and the fact that you're playing against Man City, where we touched on it earlier, where Raw was seen as a killer, and 90 points was the target you had to go to have a chance of being in the shake-up to win the league. We've got over 90 points 3 times and not won leagues. That was the standard it was at. That was the level you were playing at. This isn't it now. This isn't it. I sort of get where Hawk is coming from in that Man City I fancy them to be able to string 14 or 15 wins out of their 16 games more than I do Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal, we've had our blip where we've dropped points. They win the North London.
City are 2 losses away from not breaking 80 points.
Yeah. Like there's so many variants. Like if we just keep on our trajectory, nobody gets near us. Doesn't matter what they do. If we keep doing what we're doing, the rest of them are just battling for top 4. And that's what we want to keep in it. Like we've had a sticky period. We've touched on it there. We've had injuries. That don't get mentioned. We've had dropped points and they've not been capitalised on. Until the other night, we dropped points against Forest. It's a good win. It's a good performance. It's not a bad point in the grand scheme of things. You're playing against the team in second place. Who the second best defensive record, all that taken in context. They bet Spurs, right? My God, they're atrocious. They bet them, and they done the celebrating like they won the league. They're too emotional. We say it all the time. Then they don't have the minerals for this. They don't have the focus to be able to say, right, this is what we need to do to win this league. We need to forget about Liverpool. We need to put pressure on them by getting our own results. Instead, they're a bleeding shambles. They're just too emotional. They're flaky. They're not going to win the games they require to win to get close. In my opinion, I think they'll drop a lot of points. I think teams will go and we'll see them not as a soft touch. Remember years ago they were always a soft touch, and in fairness to Arteta, he sort of changed that and he got them more solid. But he's gone too far. He's made them turgid. He's made them one-dimensional. He's made them defensive and time wasting in the first half of games. He's made them play for set piece goals. Like, if you look at that, that is football from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, what he's doing with them. And it's really difficult to make that switch. Like, if you're trying to chase and win the league, yeah, you don't want to lose a game. It's important that you don't lose, but you have to be able to go and win them. And I don't think they have the mentality or the cojones to go and do that for the rest of the season to catch us if we can keep on air track. So fuck them, fuck their fans, fuck their manager, fuck everything about them. We do our business and it doesn't matter what they do. And that's what I want to see. Liverpool, just as Sean, as just Brendan said earlier, death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what it's going to be. Nicking the games off the board as we go, and them running out a road. And there's no better way to do it. Just keep doing our business, and then the panic will set in, and they will drop loads of points. I think we could win it by a good bit.
I think what's killing Arsenal is that City have had this drop off.
Yeah. They were too focused on City.
They're only 2.4 points off them or something, aren't they?
6.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
City have had this drop off, and they just assumed that they would be the team.
Yeah,
and they're not.
So,
do you know what I mean? And they have this thing where I can't remember who said it, but they just because you went close 2 seasons in a row doesn't mean that you go and win it the next season.
yeah. So just to put into perspective, right?
Yeah.
If Liverpool, if they win their game in hand, they go to 53 points, right, with 16 left. Okay, which would mean if City topped out at 86, it would mean Liverpool would need 33 points from 48 games, 48 points. So you can drop 15 points, 14 points for the rest of the season. That's if City maximise.
Being perfect.
To be perfect. Plus, Liverpool, if Liverpool go and beat City at the Etihad, City can only top out at 83. Arsenal are currently on 44, so obviously 48 and 44 is 92. But if Arsenal were to lose 2 games, okay, that'll bring them down to 86 points as well, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. So if Arsenal lose 2 games, so realistically, Liverpool needs 33 points from 48. If both teams are perfect, if both teams are perfect, realistically, if Arsenal, if Arsenal lost 2 games and won 14, which I don't think they're going to do. I think we have an unmerciful run for them to do that. If they were to do that and City were to be perfect, Liverpool would need 33 points to win the title from 48. So that's where
we can afford to drop 15 in 17 games, but we've only dropped 14 in 21.
Yeah,
lads, living in.
So no. I was going to come to you, Brendan, because you're not having a bar of Arsenal. So where are you on this?
No, I think it's hypothetical bleeding cuckoo land you're in. The context has to be applied to all of that, right? Put it this way: the biggest difference for City is almost every team they play away in the league between now and the end of the season will actually fancy getting something off them, because that's the way they've looked for that. Not regardless of who they sign. All right, they've signed 3 young fellas. That's what they're bringing in. They're putting together a bit of a run. They fucked away 2 goals the other night at Brentford, which you aren't talking about that yet. He hopped off Ipswich today, but it's only because your man fucking McKenna still thinks he's playing leading championship level football on amateur difficulty.
Yeah.
A lot of teams will fancy themselves to take points off Man City. Let's go to Arsenal. they top out whatever this, that, and the other. They won't top out. I'll tell you why, and I'm not making excuses for them. And I said it last night. One thing I'll never ever do on football is wish injuries on anyone. But Arsenal have been decimated by injuries. Decimated, especially when your game is so heavily evolved around one or two players carrying your whole attack in terms of Odegaard earlier in the season. Saka now. They don't even know when Saka's ever... but he's going to play football again, obviously, but they don't know when he's going to be back before the end of the season. Again, missing Saliba for 2 weeks will even be huge. So
is he out for 2 weeks? I haven't seen that in London.
Minimum.
Right.
Minimum. All right? So, and you have to come to Anfield. And put on top of that, who's going to score the goals? They could buy a man Sesko for 70 million. I think he's 9 goals in the Bundesliga. Like, nothing is guaranteed in football, and that's why at the same time. But I will say one thing: the teams we play at home, all right, you should be looking near, like, barring who are you looking at there. The derby can be difficult, right? Can be a difficult game at any time, all right. At home to Everton, away to Everton, it's a derby, and it can happen. We play Arsenal at home. I fancy us to beat them. That's 3 weeks before the end of the season. I fancy the league to be done by then. Who else do we play? All the lads at the bottom. Who else?
So your home games left from off the top of my head is Ipswich, Southampton, West Ham, Newcastle, Spurs, Arsenal,
Wolves,
Everton, Wolves. I think that's about
Crystal
it.
Palace.
Last day of the season, sorry. Yeah, that's about it. That's 8 or 9.
Yeah. So the old saying goes, and it was always the old saying, beat the shy, you win the league. And the problem is we've given the good thing is we've given ourselves this buffer now that it would nearly take near perfect run from Arsenal, which I don't think they have in the legs. People going on the Forest thing, the Leicester, they just went. I think Leicester, their achievement is it's hyped up and played down in equal parts, because if you actually look at the Leicester team that won the league, there was some really fucking good players in that team that went on to do amazing things in the game. I don't see that with Forest. Maybe a man Murillo might go on and be a really good centre back somewhere, but it's just that they're flying. They've had no injuries and they're doing really well. And the thing that I actually kind of admired about Forest a little bit is that I think the fans actually, they know exactly that place, and they'd be delighted to be playing European football, that they're not just getting carried away with themselves. Win our games. Win our home games.
Arsenal have to go there as well, by the way.
Yeah. Win our home games, and the league will look after itself.
Well, if you win your home games, I think I've named about 9.
Say we win, right? How many home games we got left?
I think it's about 9.
Right. Say you win 6 and draw 3. That's poor return.
Well, let me tell you your home games,
win
right?
6, draw 3 is 18.
21.
That's 21 points.
Yeah.
Onto what we have now.
Which is 71.
Yeah. And then you'd need 15, 16 points from you.
So your home games Liverpool have left, right, is, and I know this we're going on way too long here, but Ipswich are home. So the home games: Ipswich, Wolves, Newcastle, Southampton, Everton, West Ham, Spurs, Arsenal, Palace. That's your home game.
We should be dusting them up. Let's call it.
Your away games.
The game we're most worried about there is the derby.
Your away games is Everton. Sorry, your away games is Bournemouth, Everton, City, Villa, Fulham, Leicester, Chelsea, Brighton. That's what you have left.
There is some tough. Look, let's spade a spade. There's some tough games in there, but we've actually been good on the road this year.
Yeah,
we've been decent on the road, and again, it's not getting enough emphasis. It's really, really tough to win away games in the Premier League. It just is, and it means we've given ourselves such a buffer now that Arsenal will nearly have to win every one of their away games.
Yeah,
City will definitely have to win all their away games.
Yeah, I think something Kev said earlier. Kev said something earlier there, and he said, "Look, no need to put a target on it. Just go and win your next game. Don't worry about it. Go and win your next game. And go." And I actually think I'm of the opinion now that if Liverpool just go and win their next one, You know when you're in these league title races with City, you're like, you win the next one, no point in checking their result. Them cunts won. Do you know what I mean? You just knew it.
Yeah,
Whereas with
it's
this
not
one, you're
even
kind
like
of
that
going,
now.
you win this. Let's look over
Like,
here. Let's show a lot of interest
getting
over here
closer.
because anything could fucking happen here. And you could literally, honestly, you could win 3 league games in a row here. And next of all, you go, right, you've won 3 in a row. You're 9, 12, you're 15 clear. And what do they get? They've turned up 4 points in 3 games. It like that. Like genuinely like that. Because it's, like you said, there's a lot going on. Liverpool seem to just going along and doing their thing. There seems to be an awful lot going on everywhere else. But we'll have to wait and see. It's been a brilliant weekend for Liverpool. We have to go. But before we do, Glory, anything else before we go?
No, enjoyed that. Good session. Where would you have to be on the Bonnie Blue queue before you decided I'm out of here? There's too many ahead of me and I'm gone.
4.
Out of curiosity, 4? Is that...
Yeah, it depends. There's some young fella standing in front of you in a pair of scruffy Converse with a smell of cheese off. You're not going near
You're
that
gone.
after that.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
nah.
Yeah.
No. Imagine you're like 750th on that. Like, you're not hanging around for that, yeah?
No.
No, it'd be like throwing a sausage about Connaught Street.
Yeah.
No thanks. Is that all you've got? That's all you wanted to ask? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Hawk, anything else before
There's no
we go?
kids listening at this hour, so we're all
No.
right.
No, won't be listening to the download either. We have to put a warning in. Hawk, anything else before we go? No,
Oh,
you're
good.
happy.
On to the next one, yeah.
Brendan, anything else before we go?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on I'm only messing. No, all good. A significant week in the Barclays. I feel it was a few moments to come, and for the love of Jesus, Arne, give a few of the boys a break on the week during the week, will you?
Yeah,
For fuck's sake,
fucking...
don't.
Would he not give them
bollocks?
Would he not give them a fucking couple of hours off? Send them into Liverpool City Centre, Brilla Bleeding bowling or something or whatever, you know, and just leave them, are they? Down into Liverpool 1, go to pictures or something or whatever, but just give them a fucking night off. That's it. We're going to go. Thanks a million to Glory. Thanks a million to Brendan. Thanks a million to Hawk. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. There's been loads of yous in there. Hit like, subscribe,
Still a lot of
comment.
them there, isn't it?
Yeah, become a member.
I did fair play to a few of them for changing their names as well.
Yeah, they did change their names. There's a few belters in there.
Is
They
that is that the number of viewers, or is that the queue in the Bonnie Blues?
No, I don't know.
Look, Gavin's going splat.
No, fuck that. I don't know how we give that fucking yoke bleeding to the time of day, to be honest with you. But yeah, listen, we're gonna go tomorrow. 2 shows tomorrow. You're gonna have your Lille preview, and we're gonna have a members version of Football Room 101, and Phil is the guest tomorrow night. So anything can fucking go into Room 101. So that's going on tomorrow, and throughout the week we are gonna bring you 2 shows a day during the week anyway. When it comes to the weekends, then we'll have your match reaction and everything else, but we will have Lille match reaction during the week. We will have reaction to Ipswich next Saturday, and we'll be back next Sunday. So fill your boots, become a member. There's loads of shows in there, and the members are dictating what the shows are, because they wanted Football Room 101, which just descends into farce. And then me and Emmet done a 30 show the other night that went on for fucking 95 minutes or something. It was ridiculous, but it was great crack as well. But all the members are getting all that, and that's what they want, so that's what they get. So $3.99 a month if you want to do that. But that's been it. Thanks a million to everyone. We will talk. What's wrong with you, Brendan?
End the show, will you, please?
No, I'm going to keep going now. I'm going to keep going.
No, there's stuff coming in the comments. Yeah, fucking minds are in the go. My God.
All right, no, I'm not reading that out.
And I tell you what, I'm a bleeding terrible bit of gay when it comes to the outlet, decorum. But Jesus Christ, if I'm calling you out on your decorum, you're in a bad spot. You're in an awful spot. I'm just saying that to you now.
Right, well gone. Good luck. All right now.